Hi, my name is Daniel Tonkopi, and I beat the often path by competing without competition and by fighting without fight.
Welcome back to the Beat the Often Path podcast. I'm your host, Ross Palmer. On this show, we showcase unusual success stories to help give us a broader perspective on what success even means and to help us achieve a better kind of success that's more fulfilling than just made a ton of money, even though money is a big part of what we do here. Daniel Tonkopi is a serial entrepreneur, and he's my guest today, and he's forged his own eco-friendly and thoroughly unique path through this life. He has traveled extensively in his career, and now he has a business that is based in both Los Angeles and in Kyiv, Ukraine. A series of business ideas led him to founding his current company, Delfast eBikes. But this isn't your ordinary e-bike, make no mistake. Delfast has the Guinness World Record for longest distance traveled on a single charge, with a range of 200 plus miles. The bike also has a max speed of 50 miles per hour, making it by far and away the most powerful in its class, and it's exceptional for heavy-duty commercial industries like police work or deliveries and many other use cases that he'll explain in this talk. So in light of the current situation over there in Ukraine, Delfast is donating 5% of all sales to support Ukraine right now, which is just an awesome initiative. Danielle has such an inspiring story of triumphing over failure and staying true to your roots. So I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to introduce you right now to Daniel Tonkopi. Competing without competition, fighting without fighting. What an interesting thing. I love opposites. It's like yin and yang, very zen. So how do we compete without competing? How do we fight without fighting? That's what we're going to learn. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So I'm kind of person that I don't like to compete. So if I go to the market and I see hundreds of competitors, I don't know what to do. I have no idea how to struggle, how to fight with them, and I should be fighting for this, percentages of margin, and I don't want this. I want to come and just do what I like, just to enjoy my business or my whatever, my everything. So I want to go to Las Vegas on holidays because I don't want to stay in the line in the hotel. I don't want to see all these queues, and I don't want to wait for hours in the queues. So I will go in the less busy season, and I will start business in the less busiest area. So to create something new, to create something unique and beautiful without the competition.
I like that. Have you ever read the book Blue Ocean Strategy? Do you know that book?
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of that. Actually, I never read this book, but I've heard a lot.
You know the idea. You don't need to read it to know what it's about.
Oh, okay. I guess I know the idea. I've read short version, and I've heard thousands of times about this book. Yes, this is kind of like that. But when I established my business in delivery service, I thought, I don't want to create just another delivery, just another common delivery, and like everyone has. I was in Kyiv, Ukraine, and I thought, probably there is no fast delivery, like 1 hour delivery. You can order pizza and you will receive it within 1 hour, but there is no 1 hour delivery for smartphones. If you order a laptop, you have to wait for 1 day or 2 days. So I decided to make a delivery for ordering smartphones with the speed of pizza delivery. And there were thanks. There were no such deliveries, not even in Ukraine, but in the US as well. Amazon Prime launched their 1 hour delivery after that.
Of course.
I don't tell they've stolen my idea, but they launched after me. Sure. So that was totally this, we may say blue ocean. So unknown area, I would say, territory where nobody went and where nobody worked. And the guys from deliveries, they laughed at me. They said, where are you going? Do you know how delivery works? It usually takes 1 or 2 days because it's so complicated. It's so tough. You have a lot of operations. You have to load and make routing and then unload everything. So you have 100 parcels in this car, in this van. I said, okay, I know that pizza could be delivered within 1 hour. So I don't see any reasons why smartphone could not be delivered within 1 hour. Let's try it. So we launched it. Even when everyone left. And after 1 month, we became operationally profitable and we became number one of the fastest delivery in Ukraine.
Wow.
Yes.
1 month?
Yes. And we raised $500,000 of investments, and then we grew up. Then we opened our branches in other countries, in Kazakhstan, in Poland. So we grew up. It worked. Yes, this
that
1
shows
hour.
you the power of a great analogy, the power of a great metaphor. Because sometimes we overcomplicate things, don't we? We say, how do we do this? All the logistics, the moving pieces. And you say, yeah, but pizza can be delivered. That's it. And that analogy was enough to become successful in that business. It's wild.
Yeah, right. So, yes, this is how I compete without competition. If I would create another common delivery service, I would have to compete with other hundreds of deliveries. And they know how to do it. They have a lot of experience. And I didn't have any experience. And that was another reason why others laughed at me. Where are you going? Do you know how to deliver? No, I don't. So what are you going to do? So I said, I had an idea in absolutely different area, but others. And I went there and I became the number one.
Wow. But behind you is one of the most awesome looking e-bikes you've ever seen in your life, for those who are just listening. It's incredible, and it'll be on the screen if you watch the video. Tell us about how this idea came about.
Yeah, that was a continuation of our delivery story. So I am a big fan of eco. And this is electric vehicles. So, yeah, we stand for zero emission and clean air and clean energy and everything. So when I thought, okay, how to do 1 hour delivery? So we are about to disrupt this delivery industry, right? And to disrupt the industry, we should use disruptive technologies. So and there are no many, parts in the delivery businesses. It's about people and transportation and software. Okay, so it's like the main parts. And I thought transportation. When I deliver on a motorcycle, I have to pay up to 40% out of the cost for gas, and I pollute air. So, and I have to, to pay for repair, for maintenance, for oil and everything. So it's complicated. So cars are also stuck in traffic and I have to pay for gas and they also pollute air. Bicycles could be good for 1 hour delivery, just common pedal bicycles, but couriers are getting tired. So that all small parts of the puzzle. And my biggest idea was I want to use electric bicycles. I grew up, my father was a professor of ecology, and I became a second generation environmentalist. So I thought that was my initial idea. Let's use electric transportation and not electric car, but electric bike. And that time, 2014, I never seen electric bike. So that was my first experience. I thought, okay, let's try it. Let's try this idea. Let's test this hypothesis. And we bought our first e-bike with my partner, Sergey. I thought that could be a good challenge to use these e-bikes in 1 hour delivery. So I thought, let's try. I charged it, and the seller said this bike could go for 80 kilometers, so 50 miles. So I thought, well, for our courier's job is not enough because we need maybe up to 200 kilometers, so 130 miles. But let's try it just for the beginning. So I charged it. I thought I'll have a good ride for 25 miles one way, 25 another. That was a beautiful day. I rode it, but after 15 miles, it just stopped.
Mm.
I called to a merchant and asked him, "Hey, guys, something has broken, or I don't know." He said, "No, that's okay." I said, "No, it's not okay. You promised me 50 miles per hour, but it made 15." He said, "Of course, 50 if you will help with pedals."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Seriously? If I help with pedals, I will go for 1,000 miles." That doesn't make any sense. I need an e-bike with a huge range, not even 50, but 130. So this is how we realize that all of available e-bikes have small range, like less than 30 miles on a single charge, and
Mm-hmm.
that's true. Like 99.9% of e-bike on the market,
Yeah.
and you know this, yeah.
And the thing is, your bike, it doesn't look like a normal bike. It looks kind of like a motorcycle. I don't know how to describe it. It looks awesome.
Well, thank you.
Much more intense than just your average bicycle. It looks like you
Right.
could take it off-road, like it would survive anything.
Yeah, it's something between a bicycle and a motorcycle. I would say kind of moped, but with a bicycle look. So there is battery in the triangle frame and motor inside the rear wheel and the throttle bar and all this, mirrors, light packs. We have always on GPS sensors. So we had some cases when our bikes were stolen, but we found them within hours. So we have, all the security features and all the smart features. So we are creating not just, bicycle with a motor, but we create the intelligent bicycle, smart bike. And I think we are pretty successful in it.
Yeah, I love the idea that you said you avoided competition by creating something truly outstanding, truly different, and your goal was different. You were
Right.
trying to build something with a specific target audience in mind. And it's interesting that you had this goal of maintaining professional courier service all day, which other people didn't have. Maybe the other company's goal was just to create an enjoyable bike for people like me to go ride around. But you're saying, no, this has to have very specific features for my use case, which coincidentally is another business that you built and pioneered.
Right, absolutely.
So in order to make your first business successful, you had to create a second even more successful business. Is it more successful than the delivery?
That's a good question because in 2020 we sold our delivery business,
Okay.
delivery part. So that was COVID lockdown, and couriers were in high demand, and we sold that part. So we couldn't hold two businesses at once, so we had to choose. And yes, the e-bike business it's growing like 3 times a year, and it could be a really global and huge corporation.
Yeah.
I believe in multi-billion valuation company, and I build such kind of company. So with 10 billion valuation, 20 billion, I don't know where we'll come, but this is our goal. And
Your goal is to have a multi-billion-dollar evaluation with this company. Incredible.
That's true. Thanks.
Incredible.
So we had to choose at one moment. We just sat with our top management, with our stakeholders, and I showed them the picture. I told them, "Hey guys, we have the delivery service. It is growing like I don't know, 10% a year.
Yeah.
That's okay, but not really good. And we have bike delivery, bike production unit. Sorry, and we just launched Kickstarter in 2017. So maybe we started to think to compare it in 2018 or 2019, and I compared and I showed them figures that bike production unit is growing like 3 times a year compared to 10% a year. So I thought here we have huge perspective. Here we can become, a huge corporation like Tesla among bicycles, if you wish. So they saw figures and they accepted it. So we officially chosen our strategy, and we refused from doing courier part of the business.
Yep.
So that's another good decision that we made. Just to stop supporting some part of the business, to focus on the successful one. So we decided to sell our delivery company.
Super cool. And I've just been loving the idea of replacing many short trips with an electric bike. I think it's a concept that a lot of people will hopefully take on board soon, if they haven't already.
I fully share. I absolutely agree with you. This is exactly what I'm thinking of. Like, I believe that e-bikes are the best personal transportation, like for this less range trips. I don't know exactly what you said. That's what I'm thinking about. I believe that within 5 years or something, we will have a lot of e-bikes on our cities, and it's much better than motorcycles. Yes, much better than bicycles. Because I'm a little bit lazy. I don't really love to pedal. I can, but I don't. If I have an opportunity not to pedal, I would use this opportunity. Yes,
yeah, and it's country specific too.
Yeah.
Because some countries like the Netherlands are completely flat. There's not a hill in the entire country. But here, there are a lot of mountains and foothills. And if you go out your door and it's straight up a mountain or it's straight down a mountain, and then you have to come back up a mountain, that's going to really discourage people from getting on a traditional bike. But an e-bike makes that trivially easy. Up, down a mountain, it doesn't matter. It's all good.
Absolutely.
You can have much more fun. Yeah. You can go farther. And in your case, you can go 200 miles.
yeah. That's far. You can go to some parks or to take some nice rest, meditation. I don't know. And I see a lot of use cases. Like go to groceries. Just you don't have to looking for parking. You don't pollute air. You don't spend gas and don't make emissions with your car, right? So I'm really for the ecology and for ecological using, not in terms of only clean air, but in terms of ecological consumption, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
I do. So it started with recognizing a problem and wanting to solve it. Would you say that was how you became an entrepreneur, or was it more that you always had a desire to be an entrepreneur? You just didn't know what it was going to be?
That was steps to this understanding. No, I didn't know that I want to become an entrepreneur and clean tech entrepreneur. No, I didn't have such dreams in my youth. But I always like to start something new projects, like to create. So I was a new project manager in this oil and gas corporation. I was in the real estate division, and as a project manager, I started building of a national chain of gas stations. So at the end of the day, they built 500 gas stations upon the programs which I developed. Then we traveled a lot. We traveled through ex-Soviet Union countries to Southeast Asia, to Europe, and we bought lands. We made land development there, and we built like office centers and other buildings and sold it. So I was the manager who was launching this project, who was searching for the new land and created business plans and said, okay, here we can create an entertainment center. Let's say, here is the business plan, here is the ROI. So they had tons of money, this corporation, oil and gas corporation. So, and we launched. That was really successful. This is how I learned to start new businesses with someone's money, So
you were an entrepreneur, as they say. You were
right.
Operating
and
within
then,
the company itself. And you understood what it meant. You said, if I have a big budget, this is what I could do with it. This is what money can help me achieve.
Yes, that's true. And in 2008, you remember that was a huge economical crisis, and real estate just, exploded, frozen. Yeah. And our business has stopped. And I had a little money, like $100,000, not so much. But I thought, okay, what I'm going to do now? The real estate industry, where I'm an expert, so it just stopped. I cannot implement my knowledges anywhere. So maybe this is a good time to start something new. And I moved to Kyiv, to Ukraine. I love this city. I love country. I love people. So I had been living for 12 years after that in Ukraine before I moved to Los Angeles in 2021. Mm-hmm. So I thought, okay, now in 2008, I thought probably now I know how to start a new business. So let's try it. I had some money and I had a lot of courage and ambitions. So I launched my first startup. And that was the time of startup industry growth. And I thought maybe I'm not so smart. I don't have any unique idea. So let's clone some successful ideas. And there were no... I had a problem in Kyiv because I was traveling a lot. I didn't know which restaurants I can go into a new city, not only Kyiv, but whatever.
And anywhere.
Anywhere. Yeah. And there were no, TripAdvisor at that time. There were no Google reviews. And but that time there was Yelp in the United States. So I decided just to clone Yelp for Ukraine. Okay. So that was my unique idea, to steal the idea of Yelp and to implement it in Ukraine. So I did it, and I failed. So I put all my money into this project, and I thought, okay, I'm a smart guy and I know how to do business, but no, I didn't. I made all the possible mistakes which startup entrepreneurs could ever made. So I was the only one, but usually you have to have a team. I was building a product instead of testing the demand. I was investing in the wrong ways. I was investing into marketing before I received a sustainable business model, for example. So I made all the possible mistakes, and but after a couple of years, I sold this project with loss, but still I sold it, and that gave me some strength to go forward, to launch next startup. Then I launched next, and then next. So I established maybe 15 unsuccessful projects.
15?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, no kidding. This Yelp for Ukraine is number one. Its name was best.ua, like best places in Kyiv, for example. Then and another example, I thought, in America there is a really successful project called Open Table, so booking a table. So Daniel, why not to create the Open Table for Ukraine? So people needs to book some tables in the restaurants. So I invested a lot of time and money. I hired 2 developers, designers, and we started to work on this, button, book a table. And we quickly realized that this is not just a button, because when you push the button at Open Table and booking a table in a restaurant, there is some system which says back that, okay, this table will be available at this exact time, at this day, for this amount of people. So there is a kind of management system, table management system. Yeah. Sure. So we had to develop this table management system. And then we had to educate all these restaurant owners and restaurant administrators to use this table management system. And then we realized that when we finally launched it, we realized that nobody is pushing this button, because people just get used to call to the restaurant to book a table. Mm-hmm. So we started to invest a lot of money into advertising to promote this button, and we spent like 10 or 11 months to understand that nobody is pushing this button. And finally I realized, okay, this is a fail. So we have to close this project. And when after that, when I thought back, when I discussed this situation with other entrepreneurs, investors, one of the investors said, "Hey, Daniel, why didn't you use a fake button?" I said, "What do you mean, fake button?" He goes, "Like a button with no this table management system, with no everything, with no connection to restaurants, with no education of owners, etc. Just a fake button with nothing behind it." I said, "Oh well, it's a fraud." He said, "No, if someone will push this button, you can make a call to the restaurant and book him a table, and then call back. That's okay, it works. But what you will get is you will understand if anyone pushes the button or not. You will see the demand." I said, "Really? Are you serious? I could do that?" He said, "Of course. And you would understand within a week, not within a year, but within a week, you will see if that nobody wants this. That there is no such problem in Ukraine, like to book a restaurant. You just come and sit. There are no queues most of the time." So he said, "You will understand the demand after 1 week of testing." And I just thought, hey, I could have saved a lot of money, efforts, my, part of my soul I implemented into this project just to test this hypothesis, just to see if someone needs it or not. And that was a lesson from this failed startup, this button. So I had, so that was 2. So I had another 13 failed
another
projects.
13 to go.
Yes. And everyone gave me some lessons.
Everyone gave you some lessons. Is if somebody is in an area where there's too much competition, they may not make that kind of progress. So would you advise people who are in highly competitive areas who are beyond 6 months to just cut it off and find something new?
Yes and no. I'll try to explain. Probably those people who are in this highly competitive area, they can find something new in this area. Like I clearly remember when I've read a book by Ben Horowitz, The Hard Thing About Hard Things. That was early 2014. And there are a lot of great thoughts in these books and a lot of highly valued experience. But I want to quote one thing. Ben says, and Ben is one of the most successful venture investors in the world.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll read it. I've heard of it. I haven't read it yet. I'm adding it to the list.
Yeah, cool. So he established with his partner Anderson Horowitz Venture Fund, as they call it A16Z for the amount of letters between A and Z in their name. So he said, if you create a tech company, a tech startup or whatever, a high tech company, you have to beat your most popular competitor at least 10 times.
I've heard that.
Yes. So this is what I did. I had a high competition with the delivery companies. So all of them delivered for within 24 hours or within 2-3 days, whatever. So I had to create a delivery company to successfully compete with them, at least 10 times better than them. Either 10 times cheaper. This is not a good example. Cheaper price is not a good competition point, but just to explain what I mean. Either 10 times cheaper, or 10 times better service, or 10 times faster, or 10 times, I don't know, whatever. 10 times better in some point. Mm-hmm. So I decided, okay, let's make it 10 times faster. They deliver 24 hours, 1 day, I will deliver it 1 hour. This is exactly how I work. And it worked. I already shared my story. After that, I was trying to obey this rule, like to stick to this rule. And when we created the eBike, it was 10 times better than all other competitors.
Right.
They had 20 miles, we created 220 miles on a single charge, right? So if you create a 10 times better product, then you might have a chance on the market. Because if you create a product with, a little bit better parameters, like 10% better parameters than the most successful competitor, then you wouldn't gain so many customers. They would stick to the competitor. For example, I can create a, new search engine, just as an example. It would be 10% better search than Google. So no one will switch to my project, right? Because everybody get used to use Google. But if I would create a 10 times better than Google search engine, and that could be, if you go to read Google, negative reviews about Google, you will see that many people are not happy that Google is reading their emails, it's breaching their privacy, etc. So if I can create a search engine machine which doesn't read emails, so that would be like 10 times better than Google, right? Then it might have a chance. And one guy really made it, and he called such machine DuckDuckGo. So it became successful, right?
True.
So he created a search engine machine 10 times better than Google, and then he gained his part of the market. So this is how it worked.
10 times better.
Yeah.
Or at least getting there is going to create something much better. So 220 miles is not quite 10 times more than 40, but it's a lot more.
Yeah. Yes.
It's significantly more.
Significantly more. You have to make significantly. Yeah. Right.
You're not going for price. Like you said, price is a terrible differentiator because your bikes are on the pricier side, but what they can do is extreme. And there's a reason for that added price point.
Absolutely. When people see the necessity to buy such kind of bike, they're ready to pay such price because they don't have another options. Like police officers we work with several police departments, and when they've tested our bikes, they said like, wow, this is exactly what we need, because we tried to use other e-bikes with 30 miles range. But when I'm chasing a crime and I don't have to think about the battery. Yes.
Another one got away.
Sorry, guy. I have to stick to power socket.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. That's such a tragic thought.
Yes. So they need it. Right. Yes. So, and we provided them a huge range bike with enough power for the full day of patrolling. And they are ready to pay.
We're at basically the end of our hour here. I want to ask one final question. So you've pursued a lot of things. You have taken some steps off of the path. You've returned to the path. You have stayed true to your eco-friendly roots. At this point in your life and your career and your mission, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is I have the worst life I can possibly imagine. 10 is I have the best life I can possibly imagine. Where do you feel that you are right now?
I'm in one of the best places on earth. I'm in Los Angeles. I'm doing what I want to do, what I wish to do, I'm willing to do. I'm creating an eco-friendly project with a huge possible multi-billion valuation, and I am making air in cities cleaner. I'm doing really socially important project, and with my lovely one, and I have a great family, great friends. So I would say 9, of course 9, because I always have to improve something.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that's a great answer. And now I'm going to leave the floor to you to wrap it up. So whatever you want to promote, you can direct people to your website, whatever you want to say. The final word of this episode is yours. So have at it.
Great, Ross. So we've opened our next venture round. We are going to open an assembly factory here in the US. So we want to expand our sales and production in the US. So we've opened Series A venture round, and everyone, please, if you know some investors, or if you are an investor, just go to seriesa.delfastbikes.com and contact me at DT for Daniel Tonkopi at delfastbikes.com. I will be more than happy to discuss with you our investment opportunities and how we can make the world better together.
Well, thank you. That's a fabulous way to wrap it up. I really appreciate your time, Daniel. I really support what you're doing. I can't wait to see what the future holds, and maybe we'll get together out here in LA one of these days.
Of course, thank you. And just one little postscriptum that
Sure.
we are going to launch a new model within the next 2-3 months. And this is just a small teaser. I wouldn't unveil much today, but Ross, you're more than welcome to the opening ceremony. You will be the first to know about this model.
I would love to be there. That sounds incredible. I'm
You're
scared to think of what it could do. Like 80 miles an hour, 3,000 mile range. But no, I'd be honored to. I'd love to check it out. We'll get a video there. It'll be amazing.
Yeah,
let me know.
We are going to another way, so you will see.
Okay. Sounds good. Very exciting. Well, Daniel, thank you so much. And with that, the official podcast is over.